Hello everyone, this is Lamin Sane of LSWAT apps, and in this video I want to take a look at a topic that I get asked very frequently. What should I focus on when I start web development? Is it front-end or back-end development? Okay, so first of all, before I get into discussing about that, let's take a quick look at what each of those terms mean. Okay, so here I am on the Wikipedia website for the definition of front-end web development. And it says front-end web development, also known as client-side development, is the practice of producing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript for a website or web application so that a user can see and interact with them directly. Okay, so all right, so these days the buzzwords is mostly about front-end web development. Okay, so you will be asking, okay, what is back-end web development? And backend web development, if you've been doing web development of any sort for the past 10 years, I would say there's a high chance that you've done backend web development and front-end web development. All right, so that might come as a surprise. So what I mean by that is that there is a big overlap between these two, because if you're doing backend web development, most likely you will be producing HTML for the front end as well. So what I mean by that, backend web development, you use frameworks like you use language like PHP and Ruby and Python, with frameworks for popular ones for PHP Laravel and Symfony and CodeIgniter and Cake PHP. So those also produce HTML for the front end. So why is it that they say front-end web development is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Okay, so the thing here is that you can create a website without touching any backend framework or language, and you can write just CSS, HTML, and JavaScript that is not coming from a database, that is hard-coded, and it's called what we call a static website. Basically what static means is that you're not doing any sort of dynamic manipulation of data in the backend. And even though JavaScript does dynamic manipulation of data on the front end, but it's not really backend web development unless you bring Node.js into the equation. So now that we've got the overlap out of the way, what should you focus on? Okay, all right, so I think the question shouldn't be asked what should I focus on. I mean, I believe from my experience, if you're going to learn web development, you should learn a bit of front and back end development. You should not focus on just one. Now, I'm not saying be a jack of all trades, but the idea here is that if you are very good with JavaScript and HTML and CSS, you should know a bit about how the back end works. So if you call yourself a front-end dev, know a bit about how the back end works, because there will come a time wherein you'll have to work with a back-end developer, and then to make his job easier and to make life easier for yourself as well, you know, the communication there will be a key thing. So knowing a bit about his domain and how the back-end works will help you give him ideas as to how to structure the data coming in from the back-end. And likewise, if you're a back-end dev, knowing a bit about front-end as well will help you, because you will know also how to structure your data, and you will know how to communicate better with the front-end dev as to how to lay out the HTML and stuff like that. So it doesn't really matter at this point. Like if you're starting out, just dive in and learn both. That's my piece of advice. And as you're getting a bit more experience, you will lean naturally towards one side or the other. As for me, I know I'm almost equally experienced in both backend and front-end dev, even though I tend to prefer backend a little bit more because like of my experience with PHP, and I've really grown to love PHP. I love JavaScript a lot, and of course most of my content is on JavaScript, but that's because I feel like it's a bit more of a unexplored area in web development, and it's more exciting right now. But like with PHP, it's always dear and nearer to my heart, so that would be something that I would always love doing. Okay, but as for someone who's starting out, yet again I will repeat it, do not worry right now about whether you should learn front end or back end. Dig deep inside and learn both. There are websites out there. I'm not sponsored by any of these websites, but adjusting there are some of the good ones. There's CSS tricks, which is mostly concentrated on front end, but these days they are doing some articles slightly related to back end. And there's Treehouse as well, which I believe does both front end and back end. And there's NetTouch, which is where I learned a significant amount of my web development. So I'll actually type in that one, NetTouch. So this is spelled as NetTouch. So code.touchplus.com, they cover a whole range of stuff regarding web development, and I believe anyone who's starting on web dev should definitely put this in their go-to resource. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this video, wherein I highlighted some differences between front-end and back-end, and whether you should learn one or the other or both. Okay, so if you have anything to add to this video, please let us know in the comments below. But for now, thanks for watching. I will see you soon. Cheers, bye bye.